Welcome to the good life. Welcome to the good life.
The wait is over.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Wellness Wednesday, and we are here to warm your mind, your body, and your soul, because that's exactly what The Good Life is all about. I am in the studio with the Bashan Jordan of Tiger Rock NOLA, because he gets our body right, he gets our mind right, and he has a new DVD. What's the name of that DVD?
Knock It Out.
And we're about to knock it out today. That's what we're about to do on the show today, because we really want to get your mind right. And we have been having a conversation yesterday kind of about generational relationships. And a lot of the callers called in. They really want to kind of continue the conversation. We're going to continue the conversation kind of in a way, sort of somewhat, because I really slept on this. It was really touching my soul. And so I was like, how can I bring this into Wellness Wednesday? What warms my soul? Some days when I just need to get my mind right. My Oprah magazines. So, seriously, you're laughing, but
I didn't know you slept though.
I don't. Oh. I dream of the Good Life radio show. Yeah. I dream of producing talk 4 hours a day, and I just
if you're like me, you don't really sleep, so
I don't.
Yeah, I know you don't do that. So
I don't. I open people's minds to living differently in the world, and at night I hope God plants some seeds in me so I can continue to do it and be a vessel for Him. So last night I dreamt about worthiness. And I was like, the conversation about generational relationships, I think really kind of boils down, or one of the pieces, there's so many facets of it, but one of the pieces is worthiness. And I have Bobby Clark Alexander on the line, our life coach who keeps us all in balance from the ATL. Welcome to The Good Life. Good morning, Bobby. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. I've already been out doing a couple periscopes and doing the year-end close thing, so I just got it going, up early. Got to get up at 5 a.m. to do it by 9.
Right. No, I get it. Trust me. And so, Bobby, we were discussing, we have our conversations and we get deep. And so one of the things I love to listen to are some of Oprah's little tidbits. She gets me right. And one of the books I love to read, or one of the writers and researchers that I've grown to love, is Brene Brown. And her TED Talks are literally heard all over the world. She has exploded. She has books. She has been on Oprah. And, Oprah has those Soul Sundays. So I figure we should bring Oprah and Brene Brown to Wellness Wednesday so they can match up with Eileen Bashan's and Bobby Clark Alexander, because Bobby Clark Alexander exudes the good life. So I figured if you put us all together, it would be amazing. And that's what the good life is all about. So we are going to start with our first clip, and it really kind of defines what worthiness is all about. When I was dreaming about this, literally dreaming about this, I was like, we really need to drop the prerequisites. What is worthiness all about? There are no conditions on worthiness. We are not worthy only we deem ourselves worthy only if we lose 5 pounds, we get promoted, we avoid this, we do that, or whatever. We always have these situations that we have to lead up until. But let's listen to what Brene Brown and Oprah have to say so, we can really get our arms around this topic.
I think the big thing about worthiness is that there are no prerequisites for worthiness. There is, I think most of us think, I'm pretty worthy of love and belonging, but I'd be super worthy of love and belonging if I could lose 15 pounds. Or I'm made partner, or my wife doesn't leave, or I stay sober, or whatever our thing is. And the hard thing about worthiness is there are no prerequisites for worthiness. Worthiness is an as-is, here and now proposition. And to me, that's the definition of wholeheartedness. Wholeheartedness is about engaging with the world from a place of worthiness.
Are you either a person who feels a sense of worthiness or not, or can you work on your worthiness?
I do think it's about figuring out, where did that come from? Where does the pool of shame come from? And I think in our families, we get handed down explicitly or not explicitly, right?
Yes.
Those prerequisites for worthiness. And sometimes it's because our parents look at us and say, here's what you need to do and be and look like to be worthy. And sometimes it's just, we just watch.
And sometimes it's what we've done to ourselves.
Sometimes it's what we've done to ourselves, and sometimes
Absolutely.
it's what's handed down. Bobby, yesterday's conversation was about generational relationships and how, do our parents really know us? Do we really know our children? You're laughing, but these are real conversations, and we don't relate to each other.
Real is why I'm laughing,
Right.
and people really don't see it that way. They don't see what the real problems are in just identifying what you're saying right now. I mean, I couldn't help but just laugh.
Right.
Aha moment.
And it's funny because, one of the conversations that Brene and Oprah were having was when our parents don't feel worthy, and that transfers to their children. But it doesn't
Absolutely.
transfer in a way of love. It's if you don't do this or if you don't do that, then you're not worthy. And I don't think that's necessarily what they're trying to portray and deliver to their
No.
children, but that's what gets handed down. So in our generational relationships, our worthiness or unworthiness then gets transferred through that. I'm going to let Bashan hop in right here before we go to Bobby, because I know, Bobby, you're going to lay the law. But with Bashan's, when I know that's why I wanted to wait for you. But Bashan's, when people go in to exercise, and I want to put it in, so different frames of mind. People are like, I'm worthy. What you talking about? I know I'm worthy.
Yeah.
But when people come to you, sometimes we don't want to exercise until we feel like we're worthy.
Correct. Yeah. So the biggest thing I get from people is like, well, I don't want to do your class yet because I have to. I don't think I'm prepared to, or I don't feel like I'm ready to. It's like, well, why didn't you feel like you're ready? Because, well, I don't do this. Or I don't feel like I'm in shape. Well, that's the whole point. You're coming,
And that's right.
is to get better and to get into shape and to reach those goals that you're trying to reach. So it's always. I don't know if that's necessarily. I look at it sometimes as just a cop out. Like. Of trying to get them to work out,
That's real. I'm sorry.
So,
That's so real.
and that happens more times than, it's just.
More times than not.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, so, I can't say that because you don't know where they're coming from, but a lot of times it's just, they're nervous about doing it or whatever it may be, or they just don't know how to jumpstart it or get involved or, they took that initial step into asking about it, but sometimes they need an extra little push, and it may not be from me because they're going to say, well, you do this for a living, so it's one thing hearing it from you than let's say hear from average person on the street, right? So that's why I always recommend people to come bring a friend with them, so they can help encourage each other or whatever it may be. But yeah, they don't feel like they're worth that the self-worth of wanting to or actually taking that first step and actually starting the workout, Oh, I can't do that. I can't lose. I used to have that same mentality. I say I could never
think most
look.
of us do.
Yeah, I used to say I could never be this skinny or be that small. I said it just runs in my family. Big boned people run in my family.
But what did you say? It runs in my family.
Yeah.
So somewhere, somebody put in your mind,
yep.
a family member generally, because that's who you're close
Yep.
with, that this is the norm.
Yep.
This is what you are worthy of.
Correct.
This scenario and this span.
Yeah.
You can go from this size to this size because we're a big
boned
boned in
people.
quotation marks
Yeah.
family, and this is the bubble that you're going to live in. This is the box I'm putting you in.
Yeah.
Because that's the worthiness box that you grew up in.
Yep.
At what point, Bobby, do we, number one, grow out of that box that our family gave us? And how strong is that worthiness box that our parents put us in, but not by, intentional, because obviously our family loves us and they want the best for us, but unknowingly because their parents put them in a box and their parents put them in a box. And we don't even realize that we're in the box.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a mouthful, and
we got a whole show.
Have already done an entire show for a week just in the last few minutes that you were actually talking. And the first thing to answer your question about, do you grow out of it? Yeah, you can. It's doable. It's very possible. But there are some, and not to make it the contrary, and I'm going to clear it up. I could hear on the Oprah show when they were talking about, and she was speaking really well on the topic about there are no prerequisites. People put prerequisites on themselves.
Exactly.
However, to come out of it, there are a few prerequisites that have to happen for you to come out or grow out of it, so to speak, Eileen, like you put it. And one of the first things is self-realization. then exposure. Okay? If it's generational, it came in that nucleus of the family, okay, because it's what you heard, it's what you saw. And so as a young child, you internalize things a certain way. You're still maturing. The dynamics in your life that you see at your level of immaturity, you've already begun to internalize what's being said to you, and you have not been really truly exposed or not mature enough to really understand what's really going on is number one.
Right.
Okay? So if everybody around the house, if everybody has some extra cushion and you know, in the family, and so in the family, it's like, you know, you eat, you know, baby, you eat. Don't worry about what people say. You eat and you be healthy. You know, God loves you. Okay, I'm going to say this. They didn't mean any harm.
Right.
But they didn't know, or there was not someone in their life to tell them that they could do better.
Right.
And then work with them. And then see it in action. See, you can tell someone something, but what does it look like, Bashan? That, you know, what you do is, when you say that you ask people to bring a friend, that is just, that's awesome. Because what happens is two are always better than one. I'm going to pull that from the book of Ecclesiastes, you know. Two are always better than one. When one is down, the other can encourage the one that's down,
yes.
and then vice versa.
Yeah.
And
so
I think
two are always good.
And I think we don't understand the power of our words.
Yeah.
I know we were playing about, you know, that Thanksgiving clapback, you know, and the power of the words of, you know, that old, you know, holidays are coming up, the power of our words when you have that aunt who always knows how to, you know, send that dig that hits that nerve, or, you know, that extended family member. Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your sister, your brother, your cousin, whomever it is, but they know how to hit that nerve that undervalues you, that makes you feel unworthy. And you know, we make fun with that Thanksgiving clapback, but that's really what it was about. When they touch that nerve, makes you feel unworthy, you want to do what? Clap back.
Yep.
Right, and that's what happens. And it happens, this is the thing, Eileen, it happens every year. It's like
yes.
you're gearing up for the Thanksgiving feast. It's like, OMG. Well, I'm going to tell you this year, I didn't show up, but let me explain.
You know, you have that one person who's like, you really want to eat that second plate of food? Well, I made it, so obviously I wanted to eat it. So why, your comment isn't really necessary. It's sitting in, you want to eat that pie? Yes, I cut it and put it on my plate. Why are you in my plate? Yes, I want to eat it. And watch me bite by bite by bite. And guess what? It was delicious.
And with some whipped cream on it.
Right. And guess what? Watch me go back for another piece.
Did it. You know, I said when I needed to sit, you know, like kids were there, I had too much on my plate. I had a paper to finish, you know, before the holiday ended. I had appointments I needed to do for the closeout of the year. And actually, I found myself thinking about having to deal. I had to prepare myself. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to take a pass this year, because if I got to prepare myself to go and sit, because I didn't want to have to do what you just said. Right. I didn't want to.
Right.
But Sean, that was the bottom line. I just didn't want to. I chose not to. So I said, I'm going to give myself a pass, and I'm going to take it, and, you know, I sent my love to everyone. But I did what I needed to do, and I'm going to tell you, it was the most relaxing day, okay? Because I don't have to live by what you think or what you feel about yourself. When people shoot at you, when the guns are loaded and shots are fired, it's because of what those individuals think of themselves. They don't like themselves.
Right. Absolutely.
And if you look like you're doing something, I mean, you're on the radio every day. Who does she think she is? She's telling all these people all this stuff, you know, but they don't know such and such and such and such.
For real.
And they got that going on in their head, Eileen.
They have no idea.
A conference or a workshop going on in their head, and there you are, moving thrust and forward, impacting lives, causing people to think, you know, and move ahead. It's what people think of themselves.
Y'all, I'm
It's
as
the view
vulnerable
they have
on the
of
radio
themselves.
as it is. Trust me, we are wide open on the radio. And I think by us being wide open, it allows me to learn about myself.
Yeah.
And you know what? what I have learned on the radio, here's one thing. I'm going to tell you when, for me, the show got good. When I stopped caring what everybody else said.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious. And I say this, oh my gosh, I don't believe I'm saying this on the air, but I am. I say this off there all the time. I said the show got good when I stopped caring what everybody else said.
Yeah.
Because I just started talking.
Exactly.
And I was like, this is me. I'm real. It is what it is. If you don't like it, it's really okay, because your negativity can stay on that side. And we will take a break with that, and we will be right back. And we will be talking more about worthiness, because when I stopped letting other people's opinions create my worthiness, that's when I started creating the good life for myself. This is Eileen. This is Wellness Wednesday, and we'll be right back.
Showtime in the afternoon with John Slade is moving to 3 to 4 p.m. weekdays, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Continuing the message with your issues, your news, and your views. Still here on your station, WBOK 1230 AM. Remember, Showtime in the afternoon with John Slade is moving to 3 to 4 p.m. weekdays, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Continuing the message on WBOK 1230 AM. Real talk for real times.
Do you know anyone with less than perfect credit? At KB Enterprises, they specialize in restoring your score. Learn how to increase your credit score with 100% satisfaction guarantee. A+ rating with the BBB, 10-year track record of removing negative items including repossessions, foreclosures, bankruptcies, tax liens, student loans, and more. Kenneth Barnes and his team at KB Enterprises are excited about helping you restore your credit and achieving your financial goals. Whether it's acquiring a home or purchasing a car, don't miss this opportunity to change your life forever. For more info, give them a call at 504-577-4139. Log on to www.kennethbarnes.org and be sure to tune in to The Good Life on Money Mondays and get your financial tips for the week from Kenneth Barnes so you can live the good life too.
It's an undeniable New Year's Eve party at the People's Health New Orleans Jazz Market, 1436 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. This New Year's Eve, don't miss live performances by Grammy Award-winning artists Irvin Mayfield, Cool Nasty, and Elliott Love. Show starts at 10 p.m., then bring in the new year with DJ Groove Kid and Jay Skills, along with your complimentary glass of champagne. To purchase tickets, visit www.rcsnye.com. That's www.rcsnye.com. This is an undeniable New Year's Eve, so get your tickets now at www.rcsnye.com. New Year's Eve at the New Orleans Jazz Market, 1436 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. This is an undeniable event brought to you by Red Clay Soul, People's Health, the Orchid Society, Black Pearl, Charlie Boynola, and WBOK 1230 AM. Powered by Melanin. Get it? Happy New Year. You're listening to the voice of Ronald Guidry.
Are you looking for a better way to get fit? Bored with the same old routines? Looking for results or a way to instill discipline in the kids? Tiger Rock Martial Arts is the answer with Taekwondo, kickboxing, and self-defense classes. Tiger Rock diversifies your training in ways that allows individuals of all ages and fitness levels to feel like a champion. Join Tiger Rock today. TigerRockNola.com or 504-455-9694. That's 504-455-9694 with a 3-class starter pack starting for only $38, which includes your training uniform. Learn, grow, and succeed with Tiger Rock's 3 convenient locations: Old Metairie, West Bank, and Clearview. There's no better time to start gaining strength, skills, and protection for life than now. 504-455-9694. 504-455-9694. See you on the mat. Quitting smoking is lonely work. If you're ready to quit cigarettes, not just for a day, but forever, tune in to Real Health for Real People every Wednesday at 2 p.m. and let the Smoking Cessation Trust help you take that first step on your journey to gaining a healthier, smoke-free life. Right here on WBOK 1230 AM, where it's real talk for real time.
WBOK 1230 AM. the People's Station.
Welcome to the good life. Welcome to the good life.
The wait is over.
The wait is officially over. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Wellness Wednesday. I have Bashan Jordan from Tiger Rock NOLA in the studio with me. I have my personal life coach from the ATL on the line with me, Bobby Clark Alexander. I am so excited to have them a part of The Good Life because we are really dropping the good life this morning. And after we came, right before the break, I was talking about, like, for me, when the show got good, and that was when I started just being super real. You know, because you're on the radio. I'm like, there are a lot of people that listen, and you're like, they now know all my business. Well, at least the level of business I let y'all know.
That's right.
But, you know, but, you know, seriously, and it's like, you know, if I'm not real and I'm not authentic, then why am I sitting here?
Yeah.
And the only thing that was holding me back was fear. And, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, what are they going to think? Well, as long as I'm authentic and I'm cool with myself and I'm cool with God, then we're all good, right?
There you go.
And so that's the only
good.
person that I need to, you know, worry about now. There is constructive criticism, which I'm all about. But there are all those negative people who just want to be haters. And at the point when you can realize when somebody comes at you negative and your first thought in your mind, don't say it out loud. It's not always nice. But the first thought in your mind is, okay, what are you going through today?
Yeah.
Because this has nothing to do with me. And I really sit back and listen. And then I'm like, are you okay? And they look at me sideways.
Yeah.
Are you going through something? Because, you know.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing.
It's the truth, right?
I'm with you on this because all those things happen to me because you know some of the stuff that's being projected towards you, you had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with me.
Decided to come to you and vent it. I'm going to tell you why I think that because they know who to do that to. Okay, if they do it to someone that's easily to set off, they won't do it. They choose who they're going to do that to. And what they do it to someone that's always trying to be democratic or positive in a situation because they figure you're going to still try, they're going to serve it and you're going to try and cook it up for them because why? You have the resiliency. You have the bounce back. Okay, I've spoken to them that way before and they're always trying to think of the positive. They're always trying to, you know, take the high road of it. Well, you know what? It comes a day and a time where there's enough of that because that individual, you had the patience with them, you showed love, you know, in days and times prior, but it comes to a point where enough is enough. It's time for them now to take a step up. And the step up is, you know, if you can't change your view, if you can't deal with you and you can't see what I'm living, what I'm conveying, and take some of it for yourself, all you see, the value of it is that you come and dump on me because no one else will let you dump. You miserable and you want to make me miserable as well. Well, that's over. Okay?
Exactly.
You just let them know. Okay, you know what? If it's not going well for you today, understand that. We all have bad days. But you choose what your space is going to look like. And right now, you've made a choice to make your space look bad, feel bad, sound bad, and you're trying to pull me in it, and I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
Now, if you want to talk, we'll talk. We can talk. We can talk, but I'm not going to come into that tornado, that whirlwind you got going.
Exactly. So take your negativity and go set it over there because we are no longer let external events of fear make us seem unworthy and feel like we're simply not enough. So we're going to listen to Dr. Brene Brown and Oprah again for a couple minutes to find out what those words are that lead us to shut down emotionally and spiritually.
I love in the TEDx talk, I think it was a TEDx talk, where you talk about the original definition of courage. Can you share that?
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too. It's from the Latin word cur, meaning heart.
Uh-huh.
And so the original definition was to share all of yourself, share your whole story with your whole heart. And so an act of courage was an act of storytelling, which I think is true. I think so many of us, you know, I watch Super Soul Sunday and I love when you talk a lot about the ego.
Yes.
To me, I call the ego the hustler. He's my hustler.
Yeah,
And
that's a good term for it.
Yeah, he's the hustler. And the ego says to me, you have no inherent worth. You got to hustle for it, baby. How fast you going to run? How high you going to jump? How many likes do you have on Facebook? How many comments do you have on that post? That's the hustle.
Yeah. And isn't it, we now live in a culture that measures ourselves, by how many likes we get on Facebook.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
We are in, I feel like, scarcity culture. Never enough. Never good enough, thin enough, rich enough, safe enough, certain enough. And, what I think is interesting is I wanted to get your thought on this, just because you've also been looking in the faces of people for the last many years,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
I started my research 6 months before 9/11. Obviously, coincidentally. We are afraid. I would say the last 12 years have been marked by a deep fear in our culture. It's like a collective post-traumatic response. Like, all of a sudden...
Oh, my God, I just had a big aha.
What?
I just had a big... Finish speaking, but okay. I got that in a big way.
No.
I hope everybody else, I hope other people got it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
you know what it...
Yeah. Tell me.
No,
you
finish.
Go.
No, you go. No, that was such a big aha.
No, I can track
When you
back.
just said that, I just realized that we shifted from being on alert and afraid of whether it's the orange code or the yellow code. We somehow internalized that fear, and it shows up. It shows up the bickering and the snarkiness and that we have internalized the fear. So we're not worried about what the code alert is anymore, because we think we're safe there. We got Homeland Security looking at that. But that fear has been internalized. That's what I heard you saying.
That's it. There's a thin...
That's it. I got
that. I got the high five.
Yeah.
No, I think there's like a thin film of terror wrapped around us. And so if it's not, I'm not safe enough, I'm not secure enough, it's I'm not liked enough, I'm not promoted enough, I'm not loved enough.
I don't have enough.
I don't have enough.
I am not enough.
At the very bottom,
yeah,
I'm not enough.
Yeah. Whoa, that's big, 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 big. Somebody ring some bells. We need some bells to ring on this show. But
that's it. And so guess what the number one casualty is of a scarcity culture?
What?
Vulnerability.
We shut down.
Because
I'm not going to let you know.
No. Because I'm already scared.
I'm not all together.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people are like, oh, well, we lose a little vulnerability. But vulnerability is not just about fear and grief and disappointment. It's the birthplace of everything we're hungry for.
Creativity.
Joy, creativity, faith, love.
Innovation and all of that, yes.
And the whole thing is there is no innovation and creativity without failure. Period.
So you got to be open enough to take the risk to fail.
Yeah.
We have to be open enough to take the risk to fail. And so many of us are really scared to take that jump. But I want to jump into what they were talking about kind of in the middle of the conversation. They were talking about when you're feeling unworthy and when you're wrapped by fear and when you don't feel like you're enough. Have you ever really thought about what you do when you don't feel like you're enough? You try to take it from somebody else. It becomes a power struggle.
Yeah.
I don't have enough. I don't feel like enough. So I'm going to go out and try to take it from somebody else. Wow. You don't necessarily do it consciously. Yeah. Some people do consciously. Yeah, some people do it consciously. Let's be clear. Yeah. But most often, look, you laughing. It's the truth. We talk real talk. This is Wellness Wednesday. We're getting our souls together.
I'm laughing to keep from saying things.
Right. So we go out there and try to overpower somebody else because we're feeling unworthy or we're going through something. And then when you do that, you take away a piece of their worthiness, but you don't really feel whole. You kind of, you feel good for a minute because you're feeding that ego, that hustler she was talking about.
Right.
But you don't feel good in general. And so you keep trying to feed this monster, this ego, this hustler, this fear. And what you're doing is you keep taking and taking and taking from other people. So then those people don't feel worthy. And then those people do what? They start taking and taking and taking from other people. Yeah. And guess who really gets the brunt of it? our family, our friends, and our children.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
they can't take up for themselves. Why? Because you're supposed to be heard and seen and not heard, right?
That's right.
Right.
Wow.
Bobby,
Right.
what's your thoughts? We going in this morning.
I have plenty, and I'm just trying to have them to line up straight so that they can come out of my mouth correctly.
Go ahead.
But but I want to just say this: we have adult bullies.
Yes.
And they're bullies on our job. Sometimes they're about our bosses. Sometimes they're our pastors. Sometimes they're our parents. You know, sometimes they're our children, because if we were overbearing with them as children, they grow up and they say, never again will I allow someone to be overbearing in my life, so they go around bullying everyone.
Everybody else.
That's why you have to dictate your space. And so for this past Thanksgiving, I decided to do that for myself. And I told my mother, I said, it's not about anyone else. I said, our service. And she said, but I, and everybody else. I said, no, it's not about anyone else. It's about me this time. I am going to do what I need to do, because this is the thing. If you're not supporting, I saw you put support on the outline for the show. Yes. If you're not supporting anything, see, I don't expect you to pay for it. I don't expect you to do the things for me or whatever obligations I have. I don't expect you to do that. That's my responsibility. But what I do expect for you to do, when you're constantly pulling on my time, what are you giving back? What are you putting in? Is there just one kind word that you can do in a way of support? So what I decided is, you know, I'm on a different plane right now, and I had to think. Those other planes it took me to get here, and the sacrifices I made, is like I really see a lot of it. I was alone in doing it. So the people who pulled the most, Eileen, they weren't there in any of it. But they're always making demands. It's like, when are you going to get to a point to understand? Do you know, Michelle, I don't see you. I'm not there. I can't come to your gym because I'm geographically in another city. But have I not supported you in good word and just empowering you to keep it going, keep it moving?
Yes,
do
ma'am.
you understand? So when we have strides that we make in our lives, it's just sometimes, Eileen, nice to be nice. Okay?
Thank you.
It's just nice to just say, you know what? You keep doing the thing, Eileen.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
You keep doing the thing. And what did that cost me?
Nothing. And I think I really, what I want to portray to the audience is, realize when you are feeling unworthy, and don't go out and try to steal somebody else's joy.
Wow.
Seriously. I want you to take a moment and pause. Realize, I'm not feeling worthy right now. And you know what? Since I'm not feeling worthy right now, right?
Yes.
And when you're not feeling worthy, I am going to choose to not interact with someone else because I'm not feeling worthy. I am not going to steal somebody else's joy.
Negativity.
We have too many people who don't realize that self-realization of, I'm going out and steal somebody else's joy because I'm not feeling worthy.
Self-realization and exposure. We can't leave that out. Sometimes people, I'm going to be honest here, and I'm going to be very empathetic in this statement, and please hear my heart and feel me on this, that a lot of times people don't know just how off or wrong they are, Eileen and Bashan.
Yeah.
They don't know all the time. And so when they're exposed to other circles, new people, new environments, you know, get out of your circle and your environment and go do something new and fresh and explore. That sometimes will let them see themselves thinking, oh, my goodness, you know, there's another way to do this. I don't have to keep doing it that way. So exposure is a big tool that needs to be done. And fear keeps people from being exposed to new things because their worthiness, they're afraid. The fear, what if I don't fit in? What if it doesn't work out for me? No, just go. I tell
those
people
generational
all the time,
boxes.
scared.
You can't get out this neighborhood. You can't finish college.
Wow.
You can't get your MBA. You can't start that new business. You can't lose that weight. You can't keep your man. How many times you hear that? Somebody tells you something negative all the time because of their unworthiness. Stop spreading your unworthiness. Wrap your arms around it, embrace your fear, and start stepping out of it to make yourself better. Stop spreading your negativity and your unworthiness. Start building people up. You are worthy. You can do that business. I will support you. And it doesn't have to be, just like you said, Bobby, you do it with words through Bashan's because you're not in New Orleans. But we can do that with everybody. How many times did an encouraging word send you to the next level?
That's right.
An encouraging word.
It does, especially when it comes from strangers. I even go in the grocery store sometimes, and I can see a mom having a hard time with her kids. She's trying to shop, and she might have 2 babies with her. And sometimes I might say, do you need me to get that for you? Because I know you have the babies. I said, I've been there. I've done that. I feel you.
Right. Exactly.
So I've had people literally cry.
We've been there, done that, and you don't have to be perfect. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to continue this conversation of worthiness.
Taking it to church.
Y'all, step out of your box. You are worthy. You are enough just as you are. You have enough. Step forward in faith. This is The Good Life. This is Wellness Wednesday. We having a Super Soul Wellness Wednesday. We'll be right back.
Woo!
Hello, this is Dr. Gary Clark with Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom. Please join me every Wednesday at 12 o'clock noon on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. on your dial. We seek to highlight your thoughts and opinions. My show is dedicated to rational and constructive views. Always informative, no issue too small, no question too difficult. Real talk for real times.
Do you know anyone with less than perfect credit? At KB Enterprises, they specialize in restoring your score. Learn how to increase your credit score with 100% satisfaction guarantee. A+ rating with the BBB, 10-year track record of removing negative items including repossessions, foreclosures, bankruptcies, tax liens, student loans, and more. Kenneth Barnes and his team at KB Enterprises are excited about helping you restore your credit and achieving your financial goals. Whether it's acquiring a home or purchasing a car, don't miss this opportunity to change your life forever. For more info, give them a call at 504-577-4139. Log on to www.kennethbarnes.org and be sure to tune in to The Good Life on Money Mondays and get your financial tips for the week from Kenneth Barnes so you can live the good life too.
You're on the move and so is your bank. Liberty Bank now offers you the power to manage your money from the palm of your hand with mobile banking with Liberty Bank. Whether you need to check balances, transfer money, or view transactions, mobile banking at Liberty Bank allows convenient and secure access to your money. Enroll today at www.libertybank.net and download our mobile app. You can mobile bank at Liberty Bank to keep the power in your hands. Liberty Bank. There's freedom here. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
L&R Security provides the good life. They make their mark in the security arena by providing excellent security services for more than 35 years and are licensed in more than 13 states. L&R Security's team comes with a wealth of experience from the military, law enforcement, and law enforcement training. Their personnel is comprised of more than 200 employees trained in video monitoring, special event services, convention services, armed and unarmed security guards, ticket takers, executive security, personal bodyguards, hall monitors, and critical infrastructure personnel that are TSA trained. L&R Security services are provided on a 24-hour basis and have expanded to the newest technology, including video monitoring. Find them on the web at www.lrsecurity.com or call them today at 504-943-3191. Again, that number is 504-943-3191. Live the good life with L&R Security today.
Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 in the afternoon. The Grapevine will be informing, encouraging, and educating the inhabitants of the greatest city on earth. I'm your host, Braylon B. Banks, and I hope you'll please join us on The Grapevine on WBOK 1230 AM. Real talk for real times.
WBOK 1230 AM, the People's Station.
Welcome to the good life. Welcome to the good life.
The wait is over.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Super Soul Wellness Wednesday. And if you don't know what I mean, that's because we have been listening to clips from Brene Brown and Oprah Winfrey from their Super Soul Sunday because it really touches my soul and warms my heart and opens my mind, and I hope it does that for you too. I am here with Bashan Jordan, and we have Bobby Clark Alexander, my life coach from the ATL, on the line. And these are two women that I love to quote. And so, you know, the stuff that I love to listen to and I love to quote, I like to share with you because hopefully it touches your mind, warms your soul, and, you know, plants a seed. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, I don't know what's wrong with you. No, I'm just joking. But I'm just joking. But before we were talking about, you know, not being enough and, you know, people placing their unworthiness on other people and, you know, getting outside that box. And I was discussing this with Bashan during the break. You know, we have some great conversations during the break. And I said, well, when did this all start? At least for our community. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I feel like it started back in slavery, and I think everyone can agree. And, you know, when we were on the plantation, but we're not on the plantation anymore.
Yeah.
But we have the plantation in our mind.
Mindset.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We may not be on the plantation, but the plantation is in us.
Mindset.
And at what point are we going to choose to get off the plantation? We have to choose to get off the plantation. It has to be a conscious choice to get off the plantation. And the plantation is fear.
Yeah.
The plantation is fear. At what point are we going to get off the plantation of fear?
Yes.
It is driving us crazy. It is restricting our lives. And what we do is we are creating, they're like, oh, we want something better for our next generation, but you're passing down the plantation of fear.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are passing down the plantation of fear in our community, and we're not able to get out of it. We're like, why aren't our children doing this now? There are some people who are, but those people who have figured out a way, reach back. You have your worthiness. Reach back.
Eileen, just right there. Could I just
reach
say
back?
something really
Please,
quick?
Go ahead.
The thing is, that is so good, and you need to put that on Facebook and all your social media.
I shall.
You know, find a way to put it there where people can be open to see what you're trying to share with them. But that's what it is. When people have that plantation fear, what it is, if you have the guts to take and run with that chain and that shackle on, you said, but I'm going to run until it breaks off.
Hello.
I'm going to run and I'm going to go until I can find something to cut it off, saw it off, or drill it off. When you're pressing and going forward and people are standing there observing and looking, what it is, this is a very sensitive point here. What it is, you are causing them to be convicted in their heart and in their mind because they know that they should be doing some of the same things. Not the same way, but the same things, Bashan. They should be trying to figure out a way to get off that plantation, out of that bondage, and out of that fear themselves. But they don't have enough gut. They feel bad about themselves. Their worthiness level decreases even the more. So they shoot it at you because you're the one that's making the change. You're the one that's making the difference. So they want you to feel that you're wrong so it can make them feel better about their stuff.
And let me touch a nerve with that. But Bashan Jordan, you know you have the people who, you know, starting to let go of the chains and the bondage of weight.
Yeah.
And then you have the haters around them. Oh, girl, why are you going to Tiger Rock NOLA? Why are you doing that? And as they start to lose weight, you have the family members that are starting to pick at them. You're like, really?
Yeah.
But I'm giving it to you in a situation that you can feel, that you could touch, because everybody has been in that situation where they've lost weight.
Girl, you getting too skinny.
You're getting too skinny. You look sick. What's wrong with you? I don't like you like that. I didn't ask you how you liked me. I like me.
I'm trying to make money. That's all.
I like me. So we are going to roll into our last and our final clip with Brene Brown and Oprah, because we don't have to be perfect, y'all. You're enough.
No, we're not. We're not. And guys, don't cut me out of this one. I couldn't hear the last one.
Oh, okay.
Perfectionism is one. Numbing is another, you say. Example of armor.
Yes.
I go, yeah.
Like food for me. How many of you use food to numb? Okay, how many of you have ever been in like excruciating vulnerability and ended up in the pantry and you don't know how you got there?
Just standing there looking.
Yeah.
Going from shelf to shelf.
Yeah.
Looking, what has the highest carbohydrate content? That is what I want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there are different ways to numb.
Yeah, food, drugs,
yeah.
gossip. Gossip is completely...
A lot of people are numbed out with social media now. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
Not those who are tweeting us right now, of course. But a lot of people that is now their numbing drug.
You know why?
Why?
Because if I get laid off at work and I post that on Facebook and I get 20 responses like I've got your back or I'm sorry, it feels great. But it's different than if I called you and said, "Hey, Oprah, it's Brene. I got laid off today. Do you have 10 minutes?" Because in that real person request is a very vulnerable bid for connection. I'm asking you, can you put everything down and hold space for me for the next 15 minutes? I'm in some pain.
Yeah. Okay. And foreboding joy. Foreboding joy. Tell us what you mean by that.
Okay. How many of you, when something great is happening and you get that overwhelming feeling, start dress rehearsing tragedy? Like, what is going to come and take this away? And so you know what that is?
What is that?
That is the best barometer for measuring your capacity for vulnerability. Here's why. Joy is the most vulnerable emotion we experience. And if you cannot tolerate joy, what you do is you start dress rehearsing tragedy.
Wow.
How many of you have ever stood over your child while they're sleeping and thought, "Oh my God, I love you," and then pictured something horrific happening? How many of you have done that? I woke up in the morning and thought, "Oh my gosh, job's going great. Parents are good. This can't last." And so vulnerability, to the people I've met in this research who had the most profound capacity for joy could lean into vulnerability. But you know what's really, and you'll love this, those people that could soften into joy, when something really blissful was happening, they also got that feeling like, whoa. But instead of using it as a warning to start practicing disaster, they used it as a reminder to practice gratitude.
Ooh, that's good.
How many of us, you're laughing, have this issue? I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand. I have this issue, and it's been something I've been working on for the past year. When something good is happening, I'm like, oh, well, what's going to happen? How about I appreciate that God has blessed me and be grateful and expect more of it?
Wow.
Right.
And focus on the good and not the bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if I focus on the bad, what's going to happen? More bad things. When I'm grateful and I'm accepting and I'm able to experience the joy and appreciate the joy and let it come into my life, I experience more joy.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
But so many of us get caught up in this cycle and we don't realize why we do it, but we do it because we aren't able to be vulnerable. And so if we really look at that, when you're worthy, when you're feeling worthy, it's okay to be vulnerable because you are who you are enough, and you're okay with who you are.
Yes.
And we're never going to be perfect. Perfection, y'all. There's nobody perfect with God, so stop trying.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, you know, do your best, but there is no perfect.
No.
You're only going to drive yourself nuts.
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
As you continue to strengthen and grow in that belief and that truth that you have discovered and have been practicing, you're going to notice that you're going to make a lot of people more and more uncomfortable.
Oh, I have.
You're going to notice
have.
that they are not going to be able to sit around you too long because it calls and it compels them to come up. And people don't always want to. You don't have to say anything. Just be. Okay, just be what you're speaking, what you're saying, and it exudes from you.
Wow.
There is something that enters in the room before you get there, Eileen.
Bobby,
okay?
I got chills.
And so, like they said, your reputation precedes you. Actually, who you are perceives you in your space and where you're going.
We have a church in the studio today.
That's why you can go. When I go places, the atmosphere of the room changes before I enter into the room.
Absolutely.
And people automatically say, who's that? Who's she? Where she comes from? It happens all the time. And so it's not about what you're doing. It's about what they're not doing. And when I coach people and I tell them and I share that with them about how they can get there in their lives, they look at me slant, cross-eyed, because they don't believe it.
And they're like, why is she so happy? Because I'm learning to love myself.
That's right.
I love myself. Y'all can play around, but I listen to that song all the time. Kendrick Lamar, I love myself. That is my song. I listen to it at least once a day. Yeah. If I'm like losing my mind, I'm like, I love myself. Yeah. And I get my mind right.
And then you get so many people that do not like that song.
Why don't you like
Why don't you like that song? And I play it in my class on purpose because of that reason. Like, you don't like it? Well, great. I'm going to turn it up extra loud for you so you can listen to it even more.
And the people who don't love themselves, and it's not, it's not something to point a finger at you. It's to open your mind to living differently in the world, to saying, guess what? The joy I feel, the love I have for myself, the vulnerability that I exude, it's okay, and you can have this same feeling too. It's a feeling of love.
Yeah.
You know what? A lot of us don't even understand what love is.
No.
A lot of us haven't felt
never
love.
experienced it. They're scared of it. When it happens, that's why a lot of people run. And that's male and female. They run when you show real love. I've had acquaintances that I've met, and we work together. We do a project together, and actually they tell me, they say, you scare me. And I say, why? And they'll say something to the fact of, because you are taking me to a place that I've never been in relationships. People go, I don't trust anybody. Okay, yes, you have to do due diligence and watch your space and, guard your heart and everything. But you cannot live this life and walk in the real world not trusting absolutely anybody. I'm going to trust you as long as you show me that I need to do different. Then I'm going to trust you. But I am going to be vigilant in watching how you act and you flow and operate with me.
I'm going to display discernment.
Always the way that they seem to be.
Discernment, y'all, it's one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Ask for it. Promise.
Yes.
It makes a difference in your life. No kidding.
Yes.
Lee, discernment. He giving me the finger. Yes, we have.
But that's the word. Put a label on it.
Absolutely. Ask for it. Love. Support each other. We're coming to the end of the show. We want to how can we wrap this all up together? The show today was about worthiness. Open your mind to living differently in the world. Take a moment. That's your question for the day. Do you feel worthy? Do you love yourself? And when you're having those moments that you don't, be cognizant of it. Guess what? It's okay. We all do it. You don't have to put on that armor and fake like I'm the hero of the world, because guess what? We all have our moments. And it's at different times. And it's okay to ask for support. Yeah. Because guess what? Tomorrow, Bashan's, I'm going to need your support.
Yeah.
Today, you may need mine.
Exactly.
And it goes back and forth. But that's how we create connection. That's how we create community. And that's how we all rise together. Because I'm not afraid of being myself.
Wow.
And I think that is the biggest thing now for everyone. We're afraid of being ourselves. And when we are ourselves and who we really are, it doesn't matter if you don't like me. With relationships, too. We would have better relationships if we were like, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. I'm okay with who I am.
Everyone's not worthy to be in your space. Some of us have to just actually get to that realization. People would try and punk you and say, who do you think you are? Well, no, it's who I know I am, and you don't see my value. A lot of times, in talking about relationships, that's what a lot of women, and that's what some men have to realize. Women, if he don't see your value, if he don't see your good, but then you walk away from him and everyone's telling you, how great you are, how sensitive you are, how you always have a word of encouragement, but he never tells you that. He doesn't appreciate your value. He doesn't know your value. So you can't allow everyone in your space that don't appreciate who you are. And for those who lack the self-esteem and the worthiness, this is what I do. Some of them are some of the most precious people. They just hurt, and people have just walked on them like a doormat. What I tell them and how I speak and deal with them is I speak to their potential, Eileen.
Ooh.
I speak to what I see in them. Yeah, because they can't see it. All people do, they've been a doormat. Okay, they got precious people out there that want help. I speak to their potential, and I speak to their potential so that it can rise, and it can become evident to them because they don't see it. And they cry, and they look, and they slant their head, and they say, you see all of that? Yes.
Exactly. And we're about to go out to this. Y'all, know your worth. If a person doesn't love, respect, or regard themselves as worthy, they won't treat you any different than they treat themselves or the ones before you. Know your worth, love yourself, because that is the good life. This was Wellness Wednesday. We had a Soul Wellness Wednesday, so I know you want to check out this show. It will be on Spreaker.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, The Good Life Radio Show, at TGL Radio Show. Bashan, quickly, give us your social media.
Tiger Rock Nola. You can follow on Instagram, Tiger Rock Nola, or even on Facebook, Tiger Rock Nola.
And Bobby, your social media.
BeWhoYouBe.com. Everything's there. You can free blog every Tuesday.
BeWhoYouBe.com, and that's what we were today. I am who I am. If you don't like it, this is The Good Life, and I'm out. Open your minds, live differently, y'all.